Yeah.
Some interesting fellas out there.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I'm not looking here, Anthony. We're live over there. Look at that, everybody. There we go. Anthony's making a little adjustment behind the scenes. We're live right now. I'm going to go live over here on Instagram. Welcome, everybody, to the Patrick Carr Show. What is it, 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, Chris?
Yeah, sure is.
I appreciate you stopping by, bro.
Yeah, it was great to be here.
Man,
I had a
good
lot
to have
of
you
fun
back.
last time. Pretty good. A little more tired than last time.
And I'll tell you what, you've been everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm going live here, everybody. Then we're going to have a conversation with Chris Messina.
Hey.
You are now in a runoff, brother.
Right.
You're in a runoff against Tiffany Moore Russell to be the next mayor of Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
First question I got to ask you, okay? Rewind.
Sure.
Last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a conservative in a mostly what you might call liberal blue area of Florida.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You find out you are going to be in this runoff. Are you surprised? What kind of emotion is going through your mind that Tuesday night?
Not really surprised, but very gratified. We had done some of our own internal polling, and we were getting the sense that we were going to be in the top two.
Okay.
And we were also getting people feeding us external polling. And so that was also corroborating what we saw internally. But very gratified and very humbled to have the citizens of Orange County say, hey, we want you to be in the position to be our next Orange County mayor.
I got to know this then. You win this thing on two. I'm always interested in the back end of this, okay? Yeah. We've got some other people here in the house as well, so they can help answer this for us.
Yeah.
You win or you come in second. So now we have a runoff of the top two.
Yeah.
And the reason everybody that happened is just because it would take 50% plus one in order for there not to be a runoff. No one even came close to that. So now we've got a runoff for the top two in November.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing you do? I'm sure you got an influx of calls and text messages that are coming in.
Sure.
Chris Messina, you're there with your family. You figure it out. What's the first thing you do upon learning that information?
First thing I did was say thank you.
Okay.
Say thank you to the Lord. I'm a person of faith. Say thank you to my family who really sacrificed a lot, especially my amazing wife. Say thank you to my team, one of who is here in the studio with me. Christian, because they've all worked so hard, and thank you to the voters for trusting us with your precious vote. I don't take any votes for granted. You know, a lot of our forefathers and foremothers died for the right for people to vote. So that was the first thing we did, was say thank you.
I want to ask you this question directly. For those people who are joining us, I'm talking here, of course, to Chris Messina, who is right now the conservative. He's in a runoff against Tiffany Moore Russell to be the next mayor of Orange County, election coming up in November. And this is what a lot of people want to know.
Sure.
All right. You're a conservative running in a mostly liberal, progressive, traditional area of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Does a conservative really have a chance and a path to win this election? What do you say to those people who are questioning that?
Oh, absolutely. This is really about economic empowerment. And so my campaign is really about making sure that the average person does better, that they thrive, that we literally cut costs, not just talk about cutting costs, but have specific programs to cut costs, starting with the cost burden that government puts on the residents of Orange County. So, and I'm the only candidate that has been very supportive of letting our residents keep more of their hard-earned tax money. I think it's going to be a savings of on average between $1,000 and $2,500 a year back in the pocket of the average homeowner in Orange County, and that's really significant. And so that's where we're focused on economic empowerment, good jobs. We have several programs for creating good jobs, bringing in tech-based businesses, pursuing the Space Force Academy and simulation and other industries where we really have a competitive edge, creating a trades program, or just so that somebody in their junior year of high school who maybe is really good with their hands but doesn't feel like they're destined for college, so they have a really good path to make a nice living and support a family and build generational wealth. So my message is really one of economic empowerment. And I think that cuts across every single demographic, political party. And we're seeing it in the people who are supporting us. I had a guy who's a libertarian. He said, I haven't voted in 2 decades, but I'm voting for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a woman who's been a lifelong Democrat. And she said, I don't think I've ever voted, for somebody on the conservative side, but I'm voting for you because you make the most sense.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people in this county are tired of
Yeah.
is the song and dance from liberals and progressives about more affordable this, affordable housing. And what it does, is, in my opinion, is it diminishes who people are and what they're capable of.
Right.
And I think that people in a lot of communities are tired of that. What they're saying is that, hey, I do want affordable, but I want you to give me a job where I can work real hard and make a lot of money and I can progress my life forward. I don't want any handout to me. And I don't think that most people want that. And I love what you're putting out there. And we're going to talk about the Orange County Works program, which I own a business that works a lot with contractors. We've talked about it a little bit more, but I don't think people are giving that enough credit for what that can do to a community and how that thing could actually work. But you mentioned something a minute ago, burdening the Orange County taxpayer with what I would call bloated government. Right. And part of that would be, well, let's say is connected to Amendment 3.
Right.
And
property tax reform.
And so during the debate that we watched, you were the only candidate that supported Amendment 3.
That's right.
The people that will oppose you will say that you are going to take money away from police officers, firefighters, that if this passes, there are going to be things within the county that simply cannot be funded. And Chris Messina supports that. He supports, all.
Right.
What do you say to people who are, hey, Amendment 3 is not good when we already have a budget shortfall?
Well, the first thing is that we have a lot of bloat in Orange County. The CFO, Blaise Ngolia, did a study to see, and did this across multiple counties across Florida to see, is the rate of spending growth in the counties commensurate with the rate of population growth and inflation? And found that in Orange County, it was more than twice. It was about 4 times the growth rate in spending. And they calculated that that year one, over the past year, there's $190 million dollars in excess spending. So if we run the county more efficiently without any growth, and there will be growth in terms of the tax base, we've already covered that. We're not going to cut the expenditures and the investment in public safety. That's a lot of fear mongering that's been being promoted by people who don't want to see the taxpayers and the hardworking citizens keep more of their money because they're afraid it will diminish the power of government. And I believe in the power of the individual and the family. I think that has to come first.
I agree. I don't think it does it any help when you have people like, let's say, Sheriff Grady Judd over in Polk County coming out against an Amendment 3. And for me, that's tough.
Yeah.
Because, for a conservative out there, I know we've talked about it. I'm a fan of Grady Judd.
Sure, me too.
Right. In fact, and I don't know Mina well enough to say I'm a fan or not. I don't like some of the decisions he's made, but that's an elected position. I think what most people agree on, and me and you can have this back and forth now. I think most people say if you leave the police and EMS and firefighters alone, and you leave schools alone, then I think they say get rid of the rest of that crap.
Yeah.
I think most people say first responders, teachers, those people, cool, leave them alone. The rest of the government bloat, get rid of it. I think the average citizen believes that. Because every time when I hear somebody defend Amendment 3, they go to the same thing. Tiffany Moore Russell did this we don't want to see, less police on the road, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They always go back to that.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, you're telling me here is that there's a lot more bloat within the Orange County government to get rid of.
Absolutely. And, just one example, there was a program just recently where a politically connected person taught 30 senior citizens how to use a computer for $300,000 in a no bid contract. That's $10,000 a person for something that should be run through adult school at $150. So there are plenty of programs like that we need to cut and not fund.
I couldn't agree. I mean, I think that the average citizen, I don't care if you got a D or an R behind your name in some voting block, if you knew that the budget was increasing to $9 billion for Orange County, then wouldn't you sometimes just go, okay, stop, pause, everyone. I think there's probably a few positions that we can get rid of. Yeah. This is something I want to ask you directly because Martha Sagowski did a very good job in the debate, I think, of getting to this, but you're the only one. I thought it was the best point that you made personally. Okay. You're the only one in the debate that was willing to say there will be cuts to government jobs.
Yeah.
Everyone else wanted to,
And programs.
yeah,
Yeah,
they wanted
that
to
aren't.
just live in this, like, I don't know, fantasy world where we make cuts, but nobody loses their job and we don't lose any programs.
Well, the reason for that is that people who support big government and want to see government grow, the larger it is, the more power they feel they have.
Mm,
And it's not it's about them, and it's not about the people. And my view is this is all about our citizens in Orange County.
yeah.
It's about keeping them safe, and also doing everything we can to see them be prosperous.
What are you hearing right now? Because I know before we got online, everybody, we were talking, and your schedule's been busy. A lot
Yeah.
of people blowing up your phone.
Hmm.
I've seen you all around town. I try to follow you on social media. That's why I'm so happy you made some time for us today. Thank you.
Sure.
I I really want to understand, what are you hearing on the ground, either from people who oppose you, people who are for you. What's if you have your ear to the street, what are you hearing right now out there, Chris?
Well, I'm hearing that people want something different. They're tired of the same old. And Orange County has essentially been run the past decade by the same group of
Yeah.
recycled politicians
Amen.
doing the same old. And they want something new. They want new ideas. It's one of the things that's really attractive. Besides about my campaign, it's besides my focus on let's make sure our taxpayer can keep more of their hard-earned money. They also really like some of the ideas that we're coming forward, that we have specifics, and we're not talking in generalities. We're not saying, I mean, of course, it's easy to string together, and we need affordable housing, and we need a better
God
transportation
almighty.
system.
Yeah.
And, like you say it's like, it's like the old Wendy's commercial. Where's the beef? Yeah.
We got frustrated. We did a live thing here, Anthony and I, and when I heard the responses, especially from a Tiffany Moore Russell, I'm not a fan of, and I'm the first one to say it on this show. I am biased in this way. I want Chris Messina to win this race. So if you're looking for somebody who's unbiased, I can't be, because when I look at the word salad that comes out of the woman's mouth, I don't understand it. You can't have more transportation, more of this, more affordable housing, more programs from the government. And oh, and by the way, I want a smaller government. Oh, and by the way, we're going to be able, you can't do everything. And it must be nice, I've looked at this, Chris, to be on that side of the aisle. Because how easy is it to make a great speech? I mean, if I stood up there and said, you can have everything that you want, it's like standing in front of a bunch of kids and being like, you can have all the candy, all the pizza, all the cake, and all the ice cream that you could ever want. And everyone's like, yeah, I want this. Sounds
Patrick
great.
for mayor.
Yeah. But then you're like, but who the heck is going to pay for all this stuff?
Exactly.
Right. And I for me, it was refreshing that you stood up there and you said, yeah, there's going to be a program that's going to get cut.
Right.
What do you know? That's the only way you get smaller government. So not everyone's going to be happy all the time. So, but you look like a person that what you're caring about is not the fact that somebody's not going to get their free $300,000 computer class that you talked about.
Yeah.
But you're trying to say we need to use money more wisely with a smaller government. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And I think when you were just repeating these or sharing your perspective, I thought about Margaret Thatcher. There's a famous quote. She said, the problem with socialism, which is kind of what we're facing, is sooner or later you run out of other people's money.
Oh God, yeah. Ain't that true? Hey, Anthony, can you roll up that? Give me that good and hard quote. Can you bring that up for me? I love this one. And this is what Orlando needs to be thinking about. You heard this, like what democracy is? Get what you vote for, good and hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this quote. I was listening to this one right here. Where is it? Here we go. The famous quote about democracy: you get it good and hard. By a 1960 book, a little book, a C major. Okay. Democracy is the theory that the common people know what they want and deserve to get it good and hard. And so I love that. For me, because I think we're on the precipice here in Orlando.
Yeah.
We're in a state that is thriving statewide.
Yep.
And we're in a bubble in Orange County right now that the exodus is leaving the county. And me and you talked, I looked at this more, okay, Chris, after we spoke. If you just take domestic movement, this county is losing people. It's only the foreign, it's only people from overseas, it's only people that are moving here that are allowing it to keep the population where it is. And I want to say it was a 0.5% growth from last year. Maybe it's 2025 to 2026. I could be off on that one, so don't hold me to it. But we don't have a robust economy where people are coming here from like a Lake County and saying,
Right.
I want to get to Orange County
Yeah.
because there's opportunities there and I want to, and it's affordable and my family can live there and there's good
Mhm.
jobs there. It used to be that way.
It did. It did. It just like downtown used to be safe. Everyone used to go downtown, and I know that's
Yeah.
what. Well,
You
we'll
know
probably
me.
come to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we have all this, we have 72,000 students going through UCF,
Mhm.
and how many of them stay? And I could tell you, definitely not enough. We want to make sure we have opportunities for capturing that talent because they'll build the businesses of the future.
Yep. I want to pause for 1 second here.
Sure.
Anthony, can you give me a good one that we got coming from the audience? I'm going to pause periodically.
Sure.
Folks, if you're watching us from anywhere, please put your questions in here for Chris. I'm going to pause throughout the next hour. We got an hour and 40 minutes left with you, bro. We got so much to get to.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so happy you gave us some time
Yeah.
today. So we will try to get to your questions. Try to be respectful, everybody. All right. Anthony, what do you got for me?
We can ask this one.
Talk to me.
What is his goals in office?
What are your goals in office that you have right now?
Okay, so number one is to diversify our economy, to
Okay.
bring in a range of high-tech businesses so that we build a really robust and diversified employment base. Number two is to get rid of waste and fraud and excess bureaucracy in county government so we can run more efficiently. And then we've been talking most of the first 20 minutes about that. And number three is to revitalize our blighted assets. So I'm thinking we have all these strip malls. I've talked about these up and down Orange Avenue, OBT, Colonial that are really blights. They're underutilized, but why can't we use those for mixed use housing, for experience retail? And so really want to focus our development efforts on those areas. And number four is to revitalize our downtown. We'll have to work together with the city of Orlando. I know a bunch of the folks who have a long-term interest in developing that area. I'm hoping that the economic opportunity zone expands around Church Street because we will not have a great Orange County without a great Orlando, and we'll not have a great Orlando without a great downtown.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a fifth. So this we'll stop here. I would love to see a professional sports franchise that's financially capable of standing on its own, be it the Dreamers or an NHL franchise. The Dreamers is the baseball team.
Yeah.
That stands on its own, but is owned in part, financially owned by the residents and citizens of Orange County.
Like a Green Bay Packers type thing.
Exactly, like the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, so if I'm going to throw my vote out there for who I think it should be, you got to make it the Solar Bears.
Okay.
Anthony, make the Solar Bears an NHL team is what I'm saying. All right. Now, okay, so I'm just going to say this. You know, we're just joining us. I'm on a mission right now, Chris. Okay. I am on a mission to sell out October the 18th against those damn Everblades. Okay. This has got to happen. All right. Everyone's laughing at me about this lately.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the Solar Bears against the Everblades, the home opener at the Kia Center, October the 18th. I'm telling you, I don't get a dime for these people. I love the sport. So if we were going to, I mean, I don't know. Wouldn't that be crazy if you had the Florida Panthers, you had the Lightning, and you had the Solar Bears all in Florida? I think it'd be crazy. You ever been to a Solar Bears game?
I have.
You have?
Yeah. I had a great, I think it was a Christmas present from my wife. So I took my son, we were ringside. We were right behind, we were right behind the home ice, and it was so much fun. And they won their game. They were playing, I believe, St. Louis. They won by a goal. It was super exciting. And, I love hockey. I was at Harvard. This will date myself when they won their one and only national championship. Boy, we had season tickets, and it was just really, really special to be part of that, watch that journey. So I would love to see an NHL franchise.
I mean,
I love baseball too, but NHL franchise would be really cool.
We'll talk about the baseball in a second. I know, because I want to talk about the Dreamers and what you thought happened right there and why it might have happened. But when I look at this, I mean, I have just been a fan. And I continue to be a fan because, we made a video and then, their team reaches out and they're like, "Hey, we'd love for you to come to a game." And I don't take anything for free. Okay. So I'm going to pay for anything.
That's smart.
But I don't do that. But I told him, I was like, "Hey, guys, you think I can get one of those, cool, fluffy Solar Bears? And, I could put it back here?" And they're like, "I think we could do it." I'm like, "All right, here we go. Now we're talking." But I mean, I'm genuinely a fan because of like you feel like you're part of the action
Yeah.
when you go there.
Yeah.
If I go to Orlando City game, they're great games, great fan base. I get it.
Mhm.
If I can still be a part of it. Magic, you're just another number when you're there, even though great franchise. I
Mhm.
get it.
Mhm.
When you go to a Solar Bears game, you can talk to that guy. He's talking back to you. I mean, he's just shooting the shit with you.
Yeah.
And I think there's something special about it. And plus, I sweat like
Mhm.
no other. So when you give me an ice cold
Nice,
beer
yeah,
inside of a nice
inside a
ice
nice
arena, I'm
yeah,
feeling
yeah,
good,
you're-
bro.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's your Solar Bears. What did happen though? I know we want to kind of switch to a serious topic, and we're going to be all over the place. So ask questions. I'm having a conversation with Chris. I don't have some big notes here. We're going to ask and just get to know your candidate for Orange County Mayor. This is Chris Messina right here, everybody. What happened in TDT? This is a big deal right now,
Mhm.
especially for the incoming mayor of
Yeah.
Orange County.
Yeah.
TDT funds. Can you just rewind what is for somebody who's just tuning
Okay.
in? What is it, and what just happened with the task force and the baseball team got turned down? What's
Yeah.
going on, brother?
Well, so first of all, the TDT stands for Tourist Development Tax. So it's a 6% tax that's charged on every visitor to a hotel or an Airbnb or someplace like that here in Orange County. And so it's designated by the state legislature for tourism. So it has to be related to some aspect of tourism. The Tourism Development Task Force is an advisory board, so they're not making the final decisions.
Right.
They're providing advice and counsel, and so there are some programs they liked, some they didn't like, and when we come in office, we'll be reevaluating all of those.
Okay, so it's my understanding that
Mhm.
it's just tomorrow that
Mhm.
this is going to go before county commissioners, I believe.
Mhm.
Is that the 25th, correct? And I
Yeah.
think that it's important what you just said,
Mhm.
that the task force got a lot of publicity from the
Yeah.
Sentinel, a lot of local news covered, and they were surprised at the recommendations that came from the task force.
Sure.
But I've said now, the last 2 weeks has been lobbying time, and the
Yeah.
real votes are happening tomorrow.
Right.
What are the commissioners? They could, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They could just say, "The hell with what the task force advised," and just do what they want.
They could do what they want. They could punt
Oh,
for the
boy.
new administration.
Punting.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's a democratic process, and the democratic process takes advice and counsel. For me, the way I would look at it is I'd like to see some proposals that are transformative in terms of what they bring to Greater Orlando, and also in terms of their ability to raise the incomes of everybody here. And so that's the metric by which we're evaluating the proposals.
I'm going to get to a brew reviews. I'm going to get to you. I got a couple others. I see the questions that y'all have.
Mm.
Selly 1208. I'm going to get to you. Brew reviews. I got you, man. I'm going to get to everything. Just let me get through a few questions. Hold on for me, okay? When I think about
Mhm.
the TDT,
Yeah.
all right. What I think about is, for me, my Visit Orlando side,
Mm.
because you got 400 million coming in for TDT.
Yeah.
Right. I think we all can agree that the money should be used more wisely, in my opinion, or at least there should be more accountability
Yeah.
to what the money brings in for the county.
Mhm.
I would like a guarantee from you, is all I'm looking for, that if you're elected, that at least we're going to look at the dollar for dollar ROI that an organization like a Visit Orlando is making when you're getting $100 million
Yep.
from the county. I
Mhm.
think there should be a direct ROI for the dollar that the taxpayer pays in.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Just for the audience too, ROI stands for return on investment.
Mhm.
So it means that for every dollar you spend, you want to see more dollars generated, and that's fundamentally what it's about.
Yes.
But I will commit that for TDT spend, that we will publish the ROI. We'll collect it, we'll evaluate it, scrub it, make sure it's as accurate as possible. Some of course, some of the ROI numbers are guesstimates, right? And then we'll publish them.
Okay.
And Christian, I know, is writing that down. It's my
Christian's over here. Hey, Anthony, can
Yeah.
you do me a favor real quick? Can you do a Google search real quick for what did like some of the what are the task force recommendations, or what did the task force recommend? I'd like to go through for
Sure.
TDT. I'd like to go through and just tell me where you think they made a mistake or you think they got it right.
Okay.
Okay. If we could just go through this list, everybody. Now, again, these are just recommendations.
And I'll caveat my
Talk to me.
answers with the fact that I
Go
haven't
to Spectrum News
seen
right
I
now.
haven't seen the the ROI numbers.
Of course.
Right, which are really important. That's why I didn't prejudge Visit Orlando because I haven't seen their goals.
And I got to admit, I
Yeah.
wanted you to prejudge the heck out of it. And you didn't take that bait.
No, I didn't.
I was hoping you would.
It's trying to, well, that's conservative.
Oh,
So
I know. You're
yeah.
good. You're good. If you go down to where it says the additional 7 right there, Anthony, or it says Spectrum, see if we can click on that one real quick and see if we can get that full list here that we can go over. We've got Chris Messina right here, everybody. See if we can get that list. We can go through some of these right here, okay? Let's just go through a couple of them, which was interesting. The Florida Citrus Sports requested $54 million to build a parking garage to support events in Camping World. That was approved by them. I saw that one go through, that they like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people have criticized that one,
Mhm.
but I know you're an ROI guy. It's like, hey, how much money is that? What they going to do for the
That's
city?
exactly you read my mind.
I know.
How much came in for that investment?
And see, I'm so much more of an emotional guy.
Mhm.
All right. Like, it's so good to be here with you because
Yeah.
my audience knows that I'm just like, what the are we,
Yeah.
But when I look at that, I think to myself, I go, okay, hold on. Like, anyone ever been to an Orlando City game? You ever been to the Camping World? There ain't
Sure.
a lick of parking out there.
Very little.
I mean, there ain't nothing.
There's
So you tell me that finally we get a parking garage. All right. I mean, it kind of seems like, do I think it's worth 54 million? Probably not. I mean, I'm no brainiac here, but it seems like a lot of money for a parking garage. But I'm kind of like, step in the right direction. All right, okay,
Yeah.
I could see it.
and you could see, it potentially could benefit all 3 of those
Potentially.
stadiums.
Potentially. I'm not saying it
Right.
would or anything. I want to talk about one other thing on here that was shut down. And because I can go through a lot of them right here, but the Dreamers baseball team, this surprised me. For me personally, I was a little bit surprised that one gets turned down. Have you seen any of the studies on the Dreamers? And you may know more than what I do.
Well, I've seen some of the preliminary numbers. They talk a lot about construction jobs created. Also the revenue generated from the team and the team operations, and it's going to be more than baseball. So they're planning a whole entertainment complex.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah. There's some question on the location that's kind of being sorted out. There may be a better location or an alternative location even closer into Greater Orlando.
Great.
We'll see. A lot of things up in the air. So I think. So my view on the Dreamers, and I've been very public about this. As you know, I was the only person again of the candidates to say I would like to see the Dreamers franchise come here. But I had a very important caveat on it. And my caveat was if they could find a way for the citizens of Orange County to become actual owners in the Dreamers baseball franchise.
I love it.
And so kind of like the Green Bay model that we
Yeah.
were talking about, but more than just a plaque of or a piece of paper on a wall, like literally a financial participation through a limited partnership. Or people are suggesting to me tokenization as a potential option. That's a little newer kind of approach. So I'm not writing that off. I think there's some creative folks, and that would actually help their capital base too, because then they'd have local investment. And if you own a stake in something, you tend to shop there, visit there,
Wear the jersey,
spend more time, wear the jersey, right? Promote it. So I know the Dreamers management is taking that idea seriously.
I mean, for me, what I wanted to see from TDT, I got for the most part. And here's what I mean. When I saw those recommendations, I thought it was the task force way of saying that we want this money to go back to Orange County residents. I looked at what they recommended, and instead of normally where they go to the more tourism stuff,
Yeah.
This was tourism, in my opinion, that was focused on Orange County residents,
Hmm.
right? The things that we could use as Orange County residents, although they would bring in tourism right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I considered that to be a step in the right
That is
direction.
a step in the right direction.
Did I like everything that they recommended on the surface? No. I mean, I'm not going to some museum in Eatonville or whatever it was. That's not
Right.
me.
Right.
But I want to say this. I understand that there's an audience for that. May not be
Definitely.
me,
Hmm.
but I was really happy to see a task force go, you know what? Like, let's take a step back. And instead of going convention center like we
Right.
always do,
Right.
let's go smaller projects. And I think that they were getting a message that Orange County is sending, like, you know what? We want some love back over here too.
Exactly.
And I don't, again, I know you're a numbers guy. I was a feelings person.
Hmm.
And my feeling in watching that was cool. I
Yeah.
like this right
Yeah.
here. It made me
It's
feel good.
moving directionally correct.
It did.
Yeah. And the convention center, we can't keep expanding the convention center ad infinitum because you start to run out of big conferences that you can host.
Yeah.
There's only so many conferences the size of the home builders, and I know there was some concern that we lost the home builders, but it probably would be better to have two medium-sized conferences than one big conference in terms of the net revenue. So that's something to think about. You have to play to your strengths. It's not just more, which is a little bit of the philosophy that I know you share this, we're fighting against,
Mhm.
which is, more spending doesn't necessarily mean a better outcome.
Wow. That should be the title of this. More spending doesn't mean a better outcome. Like, yes, stamp that onto something right there. My shirt or something. I want to get to one of the questions that I had over here, and that's going to train us to downtown. Okay.
Sure.
I want to make sure I get this one. Brewery Views. I'm going to get your question in right now. There's been some talk. How do we change downtown Orlando? I talk about it. Fix Orlando right on my hat, right?
Yeah.
There have been people that have been bringing up the idea of a 21 and up area of downtown Orlando to what they call, let's say, get some of the young kids out of there who aren't going into bars, aren't patrons of these venues.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the idea of making, let's say, a 9 p.m. to on 21 and up place? Have you heard about this idea? Have you thought about it at all? Because it's something that, I mean, downtown Orlando venues have been throwing around in light of there seeming to be a lot of underage people loitering in the streets.
Right. So, wow, there's so many issues wrapped up in that.
I know.
One question. One is, if you start, what is there for young people to do here? Like, where's their source of hope? Where's their discipline? Where's their source of hope? And I hope we come back to it. That question. Well, if you want to stay on,
please do.
So let's hit that one first. So, the first thing is our youth really need both discipline and they need hope. And the discipline, I've been a high school football coach for the past couple of years, really enjoyed that. But one of the main reasons is beyond, the X's and O's of football. It's that it's a chance to sow into the lives of young men and, coaches doing this with women too, young women, but particularly in my case, it's all young men, to give them direction. To give them direction, to become young men of substance and become men of substance.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. So I think really important for us across the county is to make sure we're investing adequately in sports facilities. So I saw a development plan for Pine Hills, which is a lot of friends in Pine Hills, and there's some plans for redevelopment. And I was sitting in front of a football coach, a middle school football coach. I didn't know who he was. We introduced ourselves afterwards. He said, excuse me, where are the playing fields? And I thought, that's exactly right. That was what was bothering me as I looked at these plans. They didn't have playing fields in them. So we've got to give our kids hope. And we've talked a bit, and I know we'll come back to it, about our Orange County Works program, which is the trades education program. We'll come back to that. So now, having said that, in terms of downtown, we need to have a singular focus on safety, making sure that people there feel safe. Young people, folks on my team, don't go down there anymore. They don't want to go down. It doesn't feel safe. Couples don't go down there anymore. They don't feel like they could have a nice meal, have a relaxing time. What we need to do, in my opinion, is institute one very simple thing. and that's police foot patrols. So we need to have police foot patrols that start, and I realize this is up to, Orlando police chief and Buddy Dyer as Orlando mayor, but I'm calling for it now because I've seen it work in cities across the country. You start say around 5 o'clock, and depending when it gets dark, an hour or two before it gets dark, and you go through to when the bars close. It's not expensive, but having the very visible presence of beat police walking through these areas makes an enormous difference. And you could supplement that with police on bikes. So that's that's a very simple thing we should do. In terms of the question you asked specifically about, 21 and up venues, I think that's up to the venue. I know some venues, like, they'll have concerts and they'll have 14 and up. You just get banded because there's some music that younger folks like, or sometimes I've been to some venues where with my kids when they were under 18, because it was music they liked, and I thought, I'll go with them. We'll have a nice night out. So I think that's up to the venues. But the most important thing I think right now is to have a very consistent, visible police presence.
I'm going to tell you my opinion about it. Listen, we can have this discussion. I think it is time for downtown Orlando to have a 21 and up district at certain times.
Okay.
I've seen this done in places, there are places in Las Vegas that have done it. There are places in New Orleans that have done it before.
Okay.
And the reason I say this is I don't think it's a permanent solution, but I believe that sometimes you have to take action to go, okay, let's calm the waters here.
Yeah.
Right. Let's make this 21 and up after 6, from, I don't know what it'd be, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. type of deal.
Sure.
Because I believe what that allows for people to do is to begin to enforce the laws they don't want to enforce right now. And I'm going to give you an example. The foot patrol that you're talking about, I think what I'm hearing on the ground is that they can't enforce the laws. How do I put it? They can't enforce what they know is right because it's not the law.
They're not being backed up.
Well, and it's just like it's a loitering. Like somebody's sitting there on a street. They've been standing there on a sidewalk for an hour. They're there with their friends. They're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything. All they're doing is loitering and catcalling. Okay. Well, what we're hearing, and if you ask, like, in my opinion, I'd love to ask Tiffany Moore Russell this. Yeah. But that person is not breaking the law. And therefore, it's like, do you want us to go out there as police officers and do something about those people? Or do you want us to be focused on the individuals in, let's say, garages that have firearms and things like that?
Right.
And so I think that what gets done is it paints the picture that it has to be either or. What I look at is I go, okay, if you're telling me you can't go up to that person because they're not technically breaking the law by being on a sidewalk, if we did enforce for a period of time a 21 and up area, and then we could sit there and go, are you 21 and up? By the way, you need to keep on moving through here. Yeah. I think what we do is we temporarily stop the problem. And then, okay, fine. You want to open it back up slowly, and that's how we work it? Great. But no bar in downtown Orlando, in my opinion, and if you're a bar owner out there, correct me if I'm wrong, is in fear of losing the 19-year-old group of kids that is coming down there because they ain't spending money.
Right.
And so for me, I want to see more foot patrol. I agree with you on it, but I want to see an area where they can begin to feel empowered to enforce the laws that are in front of them.
That's a good point. And I would say, let's do both. Let's do both.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Compromise.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Imagine.
Solved.
Yeah. Imagine that conversation solves a problem around here, man. Got it. I was telling the client of mine, I was just emailed a client like last week, and she writes back something like, yeah, we should just go in and do that. That sounds great. And I'm like, thank you. Like, that's a reasonable response. Like, that's how it should be. Yeah. Why not try it? Right. I mean, I think about this and I go, folks, if anyone believes that downtown is a place you want to take your family right now, you're crazy. And I'm going to tell you who wants to change that the most, Chris, because I talked to them. It's the venue owners.
Of course.
They're not. I've said this before. These guys are not like, what is it called? Grand Theft Auto. They're not like the guy with the gold chain. He's like a club owner. These are guys who are trying to provide a good venue, entertainment, and just want good people to come in there and have a few drinks and good times.
It's a small business. They're supporting their families.
Yep. I agree with you. I want to get another question, so I can get back to that one. But I love what you're saying. Get in a foot patrol, try things in downtown, and work with the local municipalities to see if we can make it work. keeping on downtown right now.
Mm-hmm.
We were just down there. Anthony, can you bring up our video? The short of Church Street.
Mm.
You want to bring this up for me? Can you bring, you got this, the downloaded one? Maybe you can download from Playbook. So we're down there, right? And here's what I want to ask you about, because this is what I think a lot of people see. And I know you're not the mayor of Orlando, it's Orange County, but it incorporates a big city.
Yeah. Orlando's in Orange County.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go, Patrick. I'm looking for our $40 million wasted video. Okay.
Mm.
Your opponent has been in Orange County for 20 plus years in
Mhm.
government.
Mhm.
And what I want to show you right here is I want to show you something that we took this video on Friday morning. All right. And this is actually showing Church Street right now about 48 hours ago and what it looks like. And for me, Chris, what speaks to me right now, and I want you to, your message to be, look at all it's deserted. It looks like a ghost town that is out there right now. And I just want to get your opinion about this, because this, I think, speaks to the fraud and waste that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And so I'd really love to hear what your input is as we watch this. We'll bring it up on the screen here, everybody. Do you have a street project cost? No one's seen this one yet. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Everybody, Anthony behind the scenes. Orlando, over $5 million. This is the Church Street project costing the city of Orlando over $5 million to pay 500 feet of street. It's a waste of money. And I think most residents believe that. And then if you just go over here, your camera, there's a project over there called Canopy, where they're building a park under an interstate with like turf and metal trees for like $34 million. Meanwhile, Buddy Dyer gets up this week and says, we may not have money to cut the grass. And I think the average person looks around and goes, what are we doing? Every business in this strip is closed. And then they're spending their money on bricks and light up canopies on Church Street. To me, I don't think many people understand it. So if they're going to ask the question of why I'm an asshole, also they should ask, is it for a reason? I know you're not Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay. But Chris, I think most residents, when they speak, the conservative that they love in you is when they think about a fiscal conservative, right?
Yeah.
And somebody that would look at a project and go, a park under an interstate, wonder what kind of crowd that's going to bring in. I'm no brainiac here.
Yeah.
But if we have a homeless problem in downtown,
yeah, are those two going to intersect? And
it doesn't seem like money is being used wisely. And that's why I love your platform of reducing the size of government.
Yeah.
So maybe we stop with stupid projects like this, bro. I mean, it just seems like,
was
for
there
me,
any private money in this project? Do you
so
know?
the 30 million is coming from the city on a bond on the Canopy project.
So that's essentially the taxpayers.
Yep, exactly. And then there's 4 million coming from another fund. I don't remember which one it is. Anthony might be able to look that up for me separately.
Public fund. So it's all
Um,
public money.
I believe, yes, it
So
is
I
all
think
public
if
money.
A lot of these projects are good. They're going to have private money.
Yes.
And that's almost a tell. Where's the private money coming in? Because that area, you have some major players who should be vested in that area. And why? A question I would ask is, why weren't and why aren't they? Maybe they are, but they weren't on this project based on what you're telling me about the financials.
You just look around that street, man. It's so sad. Because every single business in that 500 feet of street, it's all closed. There's not one open business.
Right.
And everyone,
and that's on the east side of I-4, right? It gets even more challenging as you go west.
I mean, as you get closer to Orange Ave, we're walking. Anthony will back me up on this. As we're walking there from doing this piece over to Orange Ave, where we're going to walk down and talk some more, business owner stops us and he's like, "Hey, man, could you please come into my?" He's sitting outside of his own restaurant there on Orange Avenue, trying to pull people into the door, right? I mean, he is like, come on, Pat, thanks for, hey, man, listen, we need somebody down here. We need help down here. Because they're not getting anything.
Yeah.
Man. He's literally sitting out on a golf cart in front of his business trying to flag people in.
Right. To sell them some food.
Yeah.
So he can support his family. Right.
Like, that's real, man.
Yeah. No, it is real. It is real, and that literally what you're depicting is the consequence of, I would say, failed leadership, right? And we've had a decade, 2 decades of the same leadership, and nothing positive is happening in so many of these communities. We still have major zip codes with over 20% poverty rates.
God.
And with all the resources and riches of Orange County, that should not be the case. And so I'm really glad and appreciative that you're shining a light on it.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And not everybody is, I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
That's what I want to ask you next, because you brought up the years and years of leadership. And I think that if I'm reading between the lines, you're referring to your opponent in this race. And I want everyone to know we're 50 minutes in. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I'm not a negative person on your opponent.
I'm not either.
And I know you're not. And that's why I don't want to go there. But you do have an opponent in this race.
Yeah.
And we do need to draw the differences between who you are and what you represent in your plan and a Tiffany Moore Russell that's out there. Can you draw me some lines and some differences between you and Tiffany Moore Russell that voters should be aware of?
Okay. It's very easy. There are 3 main differences.
Talk to me.
Number one, I have decades of business experience, building businesses, foundations, trade associations, creating jobs. And she has decades of government experience. Number 2, I'm for the property tax amendment, Amendment 3, because I believe we need to run government more efficiently and make sure our hardworking taxpayers keep more of their money. She is opposed to reducing in any way the taxpayer funding for state government. Number 3 is a lot of, and you see this with many career politicians, they'll talk in generalities about, we need more affordable housing. We need better transportation system. We need economic development. Sure, we need all those things, but what are the specifics? And kind of my career and the people I've worked with, it's always been about what is the specific thing you're going to do? How are you going to do it? How are you going to measure the results? So it's, I would say, generalities versus specificities.
Decades of business experience versus government, and then for Amendment 3 as opposed to being against it with the government size.
Yeah, for property tax reform as opposed.
Okay. I want to talk about her record for a minute. Anthony, if you can bring up our Google review there, if you don't mind. I want to double check and fact check myself on this because I always think it's important to be truthful with our audience. I want you to look up Google. Let's do clerk of court reviews, if you don't mind. Okay, there we go. So perfect. I'm just going to read off what Google says because your opponent has been the head of the clerk of court's office since 2014. And I think it's telling. This is very telling, in my opinion, that no one pays attention to. 456 Google reviews for the Orange County Clerk of Court. Her rating is a 2.5.
Out of how much?
5. So she's batting 50% now. Now, here's my thought. Any other business, if you're a small business out there, we know what would happen to your small business with a 2.5 rating. First of all, you wouldn't be in business.
Right.
I have a 5.0 rating on my company, and I know a lot of my clients who work with me, it's 4 9s and above, right?
Yeah.
Because you care genuinely about your customer.
Yeah.
2.5. Anthony, bring up some of these reviews. Just click on Google reviews. Folks, if you go through this stuff right here, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, everywhere. She led this team. That's the kind of customer service she's been delivering to Orange County residents. My question is, why should an Orange County resident expect any different service if she becomes mayor? I don't. I'm asking this question kind of rhetorically to you.
It is rhetorical.
But I mean, the numbers don't lie here.
Yeah.
2.5 rating out of 500, close to 500 reviews. What is this woman doing?
I can't speak for, obviously I can't speak for her. I think what you're pointing out, though, is a common phenomenon with people who've been in government service for a long time. And I think this shows, and I wouldn't say, who've been in politics really for a long time. Because what happens, I think, when places where you don't have term limits, you start to just kind of just start to do the same old. You do whatever it takes to, get through the day, and you're not thinking about who is my customer at the end of the day. who is my customer?
Yep.
And when you come in with a business mindset, you come in with a sense of who is my customer, and my customer is the Orange County taxpayer. And if I want to lift our, we're towards the bottom in terms of net incomes across the country, according to the Census Bureau. So I want to see all of our citizens lifted up. Now, it's not going to be exactly the same because there's no promise of equality in a conservative and capitalist system. That's only in a socialist system, and that is equality of misery.
Mhm.
So I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about equal opportunity, where you have an opportunity to make something of yourself,
Damn
and
right.
that's our focus.
Yeah, I want equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome.
Exactly.
And that's all I ask for from anybody. Give everyone a chance. Now,
Yeah.
listen, everyone, does that mean that nobody starts with a little bit of a head start? No, everyone's got a skill. Everyone's going to come. Some people are born with more. Some
Sure.
people are born with less.
Yeah.
All right. It can come financially. It can come mentally. Some people are able to look at a math problem that I'll never be able to solve, and they can solve it in a minute.
Yeah.
Some people are born with it. Some people have a certain place in life that they get things that
Yeah.
you don't get.
Yeah.
I think what the conservative movement says, and this is me talking, not you,
Sure.
but I believe the conservative movement is one about personal accountability,
Oh, for
where
sure.
more the liberals and progressive movement that we see from a Tiffany Moore Russell and others is more about, it's not your fault, it's the environment's fault. It's that you didn't have enough from the government. You didn't
Yeah.
have enough of us to be able to
Right.
give you a hand up. I firmly believe that most people
Mhm.
don't need that. They need an opportunity, and they will take advantage of it.
Exactly. And I think that's true. And I think that is true across all kinds of demographics.
Yes.
However you want to slice and dice people. I think the other thing that you see with a lot of career politicians is where they try to divide people into groups, and then they pit the groups against each other as a way of kind of sowing chaos and maintaining power. And that's something that I don't believe in. I don't believe in group accountability. I believe in individual accountability.
All right. Well, I'm not going to leave this go. Anthony, can you just look it up for me? I've got to know the answer to this. Just look up Orange County Department of Corrections. I just got to see if what I said is true. Okay. Oh, folks, we got a 2.5 rating for the clerk of court. I just want to know what the Department of Corrections is rating at right now. Just look at Department of Corrections, and then let's look at, come on, give me a rating. Give me a Google review. Can you look at reviews up there? I just want to know here. I mean, give me a tax collector then. I just got to know where it competes in there. Okay, here we go. Now we're looking at it. Go back to there. If we can bring that up, all right, everybody? Just because I know this is me now, all right? Because I know you don't want to run a negative campaign, but this is telling. This is something people should know about, everyone. We said, right, what did we say? What did we say it was? For 2.5 rating for the Orange County Clerk of Court. The Orange County Tax Collector's Office is running at a 4.5.
That's a huge difference.
With 1.5 thousand. The Orange County Tax Collector itself has 5.5 thousand with a 4.7. Go to more places right there down there, Anthony. Go to more. If you look at all the county tax collector offices that we have right there, they're not right there, 3.5. The lowest is a 3.5. I mean, go back to Seminole County right there. Let's go to tax. You can go. But I mean, I look at this and I go, you're running that department. As a small business, her small business was what? It was the Orange County Clerk of Court for a long time.
Right.
And yet the service that's being delivered, tax collectors have a higher rating by 100% almost.
Yeah.
Than what her office is delivering.
Yeah. That's surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people would not look at that and go, oh, she's going to change once she becomes mayor. No, you're going to get a lot more the same, good and hard, everybody. That's what you're going to get.
I think that's one of the challenges with career bureaucrats and career politicians is you kind of lose sight of who's the customer.
Oh, yeah.
And you start, and I've seen this happen with lots of career politicians. They start to think of themselves as the customer.
Yeah.
And
good point.
Yeah. So
Anthony, I'm sorry. You think,
no, I was just going to say, I think that's completely wrongheaded.
yeah. I think that people should be judged on their record, right?
Mhm.
A good indicator of future performance is past performance. And when I look at the past performance, if you're going to go out there, and I think she's going to try it on stage with you, and she's going to sit there and she's going to tout her record at the as a clerk of court. Well, what does your record really say? Is would be my question, because your record says that you've delivered abysmal customer service to the residents of Orange County. Abysmal. I mean, just absolutely terrible stuff right there. So Anthony, we have some questions from the audience here. YouTube, pull them somewhere. I know we got a lot of stuff popping up there. Let me leave some more here for you.
Wants to know how we make transportation better.
Transportation. Let's talk about it. Talk about transportation.
Sure. Well, the first thing is let's pick the low-hanging fruit. And the low-hanging fruit is the links, the bus system. So our bus system is way overscaled for a county as spread out, geographically spread out as we are. And what we need to do is downsize or right size the most of the buses and move from the current model, which is a spoke and hub model, where you have one big hub downtown and all the spokes feed into it, and then you have to change buses to another spoke to get to where you're going. And that's why I've shared this story a couple of times, but a young guy I met in Pine Hills who spends 2 hours every day commuting one way and another 2 hours coming back home. Why? Because he's got to take the bus he's got to wait for the bus first, take the bus all the way in to downtown, then switch to another bus so he can get to his job at the airport. And you can bet as soon as he can afford a car, he's going to get one and drive, because otherwise he can't live with a 4-hour commute. That's a third of your workday. So what we need to do is move to more of the smaller buses, equip them with technology so they become predictable, and we shift from a spoke and hub model to a point-to-point model, and more like Uber or Lyft, and potentially partner with them. I know that Seminole, I've been calling for this for 5 years, and Seminole just recently started a program called Scout to do just that. They partnered with an app called Freebie. And I think as quickly as possible, we should join that program. It's already generated about $10 million in savings for Seminole, which is a smaller county in terms of its expenditures than we are. So that's the first thing we have to do, is fix our bus system. And then we can look at the entirety of the system as a network, which would include toll roads, which would include some of the airport, the trains, the underground tunnels that are starting to be planned, and down the road, vertiports, vertical takeoff and landing cars.
What do they have? That one. They have this. I think it's Polk County that has.
Yeah,
Was it Polk or Osceola?
I know. I think it's Hillsborough.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, don't 100%, but it's I believe they've started that between Clearwater and Tampa.
They're doing those vertical land. It's not like it's like I would say like the Jetsons thing or something like that. Yeah, it's happening though.
It is. Well, look at your watch. You can make calls from your watch.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I want to go back to the Scout thing, because I think during the debate you got cut off on this question. I watched a debate. I probably watched the mayoral debate more than just about anybody. Okay, I thought you got cut off on this question, and I don't think you really got a chance to take it out there, because I think some people might have taken it as you wanting to reduce the size of public transit. I want you to clarify this, because it sounds to me like you're trying to make it more efficient. Not saying you're going to take bus routes away from people.
No, same bus routes, maybe literally more bus routes, but with smaller buses. So it's more van size, technology equipped, so they can go point to point. So let's just take your neighborhood or my neighborhood, where one of those buses could come in the neighborhood, pick up everybody who's going to their job at, let's say, Universal, head off straight point to point. And you can't do that with a big bus. You can do that with a smaller technology enabled van.
That's, to me, is so important that people understand this about you, because I think that sometimes people can think conservative. Okay, we're going to reduce the size of government. It makes sense that now he's going to take away bus routes. But this is, and getting a chance to know you, Chris, there's just not a chance in the world you would let that happen to a citizen of Orange County, because you take it real seriously how someone gets to a job that they have. Right. If there's anybody who understands that, it's you. But let's talk about some of that other stuff that you mentioned, because I really hated the fact that you got cut off on that answer. You just didn't have enough time to get that one out.
Yeah.
It's brutal on that debate.
Mm.
I want to
We
talk
still
about.
won though.
Yeah, you still won. There
Yeah.
you go, man. I'm talking. I want to talk a little bit more about. Well, actually, let's go back to what we said before. There are the differences that you have from your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned what you got. We got the decades of business experience, Amendment 3, plus the specifics versus the generalities. All right. Is there? I guess I'm trying to understand for so many people out there, what they're going to see is a D behind that person's name and not behind your name. Right? And it's a Democrat or Republican or or non. What would I? How would I conservative?
Yeah,
Okay?
conservative. Yeah,
Conservative.
yeah.
And I feel like what happens, and I'm walking through this in my mind with you. I hate it because there are so many what I call them Clinton Democrats out there.
Yeah,
a Bill Clinton Democrat, who I think if they got to know a Chris Messina right now, they'd be like, this guy's a lot more in line with what I think than she is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess for me, I'm so worried about this because it's like a constant theme in Orange County where people vote based on a letter behind the name and not the candidate.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about it? Are you?
Well,
I mean, are you? I guess it's there. I mean, you got to address it, right?
Yeah, but people want to talk about like what's going on nationally or the president, if you like them, don't like them, like that's not in the wheelhouse of local government. This is really about fixing local problems, about creating local opportunities. The only place where it actually plays in and is actually an advantage for me is that I do have good relationships with many of the people in the state legislature. And historically, Orange County has decided to fight with the state legislature and has done that at its peril. And has wasted a lot of money on various lawsuits and challenges, and could have just accomplished so much more with some cooperation. So, my view at the end of the day, though, is whether it's D-R-I-G, for green, it doesn't matter. Most people I know are concerned about what I call kitchen table issues. Like, how much is my job paying me? Is there a better job for me? How is my son or my daughter? What are their educational prospects like? They're going downtown. Are they going to be safe? These are all questions where we have a very specific plan.
I'm going to take one quick break from me to go to the bathroom. All right.
That's important.
Hey, we're going to leave Chris here. Hey, Anthony, you want to ask some questions? I got some over here. I got my first, but I want to hear the answer to mine because I got some over here from my Instagram. Sorry about that, y'all.
I'm going to grab some water now.
All right.
I didn't want to drink midstream.
So I'm going to walk out of the studio right here. My own studio. Be right back, everybody.
Hey, you're on camera.
There we go. Someone wants to know, since there's a lot of Democrats in Orange County, how do you feel you're going to get the Democratic votes?
Well, we're really focused on economic issues, providing economic empowerment and addressing with very specific plans. And I don't think there's a Democrat approach to better transportation. No, that's if there's an idea for better transportation that benefits everybody, whether Democrat or Republican. If there's a opportunity to create more jobs, those jobs are going to go to people based on their skills, not based on their party affiliation. So we're not focused on creating Republican jobs. We're focused on creating jobs for everybody. And he's back.
I'm coming. You made that get in. Now here I am trying to do the same thing. Here we go. People could see stepping over wires and stuff. What question did you ask?
Basically, like, since Orange County is very Democrat,
Yeah.
what is his ways to get like the Democratic votes.
Oh yeah, get us some of those swing votes over there. It's great.
Yeah. We talked about that. There's a better job. We're not creating Democrat or Republican jobs. We're creating jobs for everybody.
Yep.
So that's our focus. Returning money to the taxpayer. We're not going to say, "Oh, you're Republican, you're going to get a little more." No, it's going to be returned on an equal basis to everybody.
All right, I'm gonna take this one here from TYX Savage. All right, because I think it speaks to something else I want to talk about with
Sure.
downtown Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to go downtown because of the homeless problem.
Mm-hmm.
And other things that have opened, and people would rather go there than downtown. I agree, but I want to address the first part right there because we really haven't touched on it much, and
Yeah.
you did touch on it during the debate.
Yeah.
When you had the four of you in the race.
Yeah.
Homeless in downtown Orlando. I want to start by saying I've been very vocal against some of the plans, but I always have this philosophy, and Chris, I think you're going to share this with me. I believe that every person who's homeless, we should all realize that we're three circumstances, choices, decisions from being exactly where that person is.
Mm-hmm.
Do not ever put yourself above where that person is.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what that individual's gone through.
Right.
You know, you lose a parent or you lose a spouse, you lose a kid, and you lose your job in the same week.
Yeah.
Good luck saying you know how you'd react.
Yeah.
And I don't know that person's story. So I have a lot of empathy for the I really do. Because I've been real close to that situation. I've lived in the hotel month to month. I've done it.
Yeah.
I also understand there's a safety issue. And so it's a very, it's not an easy one right there to navigate, but that's why they're paying you the big bucks. And that's why I'm asking you this question. How do you address the homeless problem that we have in Orlando that seems to be continuing to grow?
Yeah. This is a challenging problem, and it's worthy of a lot of consideration. And I'll start by maybe sharing a little bit of my backstory. So at one point when I was a teen, I was on the streets for 2 months.
Okay.
And then another point in my life, I had $5 in the bank, and so I can really empathize with what you're saying. So you don't have a good job. If you don't have a good job, you are really in trouble, right? So got to have a good job. And it also is really important to have a supportive family. And if you don't have one, that's also another place where you can be in trouble. And I've seen that some programs that I think really make sense in terms of addressing the homeless problem. They're all programs that are moving people towards self-sufficiency. So that is the key. Is your program moving somebody towards self-sufficiency? And a couple that I like, the Hope Center in Winter Garden, which has a lot of wraparound services that they go along. They will literally pray with you. They will also provide financial counseling. They also have a grocery store. And they have a shop where you can shop at super discounted rates but you're investing in yourself in these places, and they're moving you along. And Freeway Ministries, which is a ministry associated with one of the churches in downtown Orlando, which is all about you have to recognize when you're in a challenging situation, particularly if the challenging situation involves like drug addiction, and then they provide homes where you have a place to stay, clean, safe place to stay, but you also have responsibilities that you have to address. So I think we need to look at all these programs and see the ones that work, and we need to look at the programs. Specifically, we have to divide the homeless population into chronic, which are long-term, and episodic. Those are people who've had like some short-term catastrophe, and the solutions are different for each of those groups.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. So I could go through with
please.
Very
interesting.
With episodic, we need to provide more emergency shelters. And I know how frustrating this is because I and some friends tried to help a lady who had 5 children, all under the age of 8. And she was in a situation, she had a job, situation with her family where her house of origin was getting so crowded that her own mother pushed her out, said, "You have to go with your kids." It was the most frustrating thing to try to find housing for her because it was all full. And so we do need to and that's somebody that I would say is in the episodic point of view. She needs some help, a place to stay so she can get on her feet with her job. The chronic situation, that's where you have to deal with the mental health and the drug addiction processes first. And we also have to recognize that so many of our residents do not feel safe because of as you pointed out, the homeless problems in those areas. So we've got to look at how do we keep those folks safe. That means controls on what it means. First of all, I think smaller scale centers for our homeless population, and controls kind of along the lines of what you're talking about with downtown, where you have some controls over who can do what when, as a condition of getting housing and support, and not just kind of flooding and neighborhoods, because that destabilizes those neighborhoods. And we have to make sure that we don't want to become a center where homeless people migrate from around the country too. So one thing for sure, there is no amount of money we can throw out without really thinking through how do we approach this problem that's going to solve it. If it was, then LA would have no homeless problem, and instead LA's homeless problem is expanding.
Yeah. There's a couple of thoughts. First of all, I really appreciate that well thought out answer, because I believe that there is a difference in the type of people that are homeless, right? And there's not saying that one is better or there's nothing like that. It's just there's a difference in somebody that is in a period of their life, in a chapter, right? And somebody else has decided to make that their whole book.
Yeah.
All right. Like you have to understand that. And I want everyone to understand this from my audience. If you believe I'm some kind of conservative that looks at what the example that Chris just gave, about a woman who's got 5 kids, and you go immediately to, well, she shouldn't be having those kids. Listen, all right, you can have 2 things at once. And I've often said, Chris, that the life is nuanced and the and is important. In other words, she may be, okay, you can make that argument. My conservative audience will say, and she shouldn't have had those kids. And those kids are there. And you know what? They need to be looked after. And one of the things I've always appreciated in my time of getting to know you is your heart. Okay. You have a heart for people. And I think that because generally, I think there are people that are Democrats or blue or progressive, when they think about a conservative, they may not think about you having the heart that you do for people. Right. And that's sad. Because I've heard you talk about jobs and how much pride, and earlier it's like discipline and hope. The message you have is one that more people need to hear. That's a message of real hope. Discipline in life, I promise you, will give you hope. All right. I'll tell you, one of the things that changed my life, Chris, and I'm going to go on to, of course, I'm going to talk about the Orange County Works program, because it leads right into that. The best piece of advice I ever received in my life was that it's okay to stop a bad decision. And I tell you, when I was having problems with drugs and alcohol, it was what saved my life. And I don't know what would have happened if I wouldn't have gotten that advice. Right. And
taken it to heart. You took it to heart, which was really important.
And then I may be where that person is, drugged out on the street. And I don't think I was far away from that. Maybe right now I look at, okay, but at the time I wasn't. And I really look at that with empathy now.
Yeah.
Because if I wouldn't have pushed my way away from that table, I don't know where I would have been. And so be very cognizant, everybody, before you look at me and you think that I'm that person who goes, oh man, shouldn't have those kids, it's choice and all that stuff. No, I know this. We all sin differently, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own thing they're dealing with. So before you pass judgment on another person, you be real quick to look at yourself and say, what kind of skeletons do I got in my closet?
Right.
And our job as human beings out there should probably be to look out for some children and go, let's give them a place where they can call home.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. Now, where we get there, I think, is the difference between a conservative and a liberal, in my opinion.
Right.
And that's where I want to turn next, because you got something that again, this is when I watch the debate, I'm throwing my pen down like this, watching it, because your Orange County Works program
Mm-hmm.
should be a staple in this county.
Yeah.
All right. Period. Hard stop.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is not talked about enough, and I want to give you go to town
Sure.
because this is what makes a difference when it comes to people's lives and their ability to provide for their family. Talk about it, if you will.
Okay, sure. Let me start with the kind of the meta picture, the big picture. The big picture is we have a drastic shortage of skilled trades in Orange County, and this is the case in many places across the country. Now, if we're going to build a 21st century economy,
That's right.
we need people who can fix things and build things, and we need welders, plumbers, electricians, CAD CAM operators. We need all those folks. And they can be great jobs.
Yes.
So a third-year plumber with their certifications on average is making $100,000 a year.
I know it.
You can build generational wealth. You can support a nice you can support your family. You can buy a really nice home on that kind of an income. So we thought about this, and this actually came out of was hatched when I was coaching football.
Okay.
Because I was sharing about the space tech and Space Force with one of the football coaches I coached with, and he said, "Yeah, that all sounds good, but what are your ideas for the community?" And I thought, that's a profound question because I knew what he's getting at. Like, where are the educational opportunities for kids who aren't going to be aerospace engineers, right? But are good with their hands. So the idea that we came up with is something called Orange County Works.
Okay.
There's a lot of detail about it on my website, chrismessina.com. And it's a subsidized trades education, skilled trades education, available to people from junior year in high school on through middle age. So if somebody wants to change their careers can access this program.
Good.
And what it provides is a subsidized education where the county will set up a fund. Initially, we're thinking $50 million, where it pays for tools and tuition and books directly to technical colleges and technical schools on tuition for the individual. And then after they get their job, they have 5 years to pay half of it back.
Okay.
And they pay it back over time. So we keep the fund evergreen. And in addition, if the school admits somebody who's not qualified or not prepared to do the work and they drop out, then following year, we reclaim part of that tuition from the school. So they're not gaming the system, because we thought we need skin in the game and we need to make sure the schools, not that they would do this deliberately, but they have an incentive to make sure the people they're admitting want to do the work to become a plumber, welder, electrician.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's the school. Because I was worried, what happens to the kid who doesn't finish? Is the kid then hit with debt?
No.
Okay, so it's a school makes the choice of what they're going to do.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Thank you. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. No, we really thought through with some super smart people on our team, and kind of we went through what about this scenario, just like you and I are talking about. What about that scenario? And we think this is going to be really transformative in terms of building a skilled workforce and creating hope for the future.
Can I take an example? Like, let's just take a HVAC, like an HVAC tech.
Oh,
okay.
Sure.
So we've got a lot of great HVAC clients in my business. So, I really I love the way this plays out. Is I'm a 17-year-old kid, let's just say, and I don't know what I want to do. That was me, right?
Yeah.
And there are so many kids out there that maybe they decide they're going to go to college or they're going to go to a community, because I don't know what to do. I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. I wish I never would have gone. Okay, I regret my 4-year degree. I had 2 degrees from UF, and I regret both of them because I didn't do anything that was worth a dart. Now, if you told me, knowing what I know now, that I could go back and I can learn an HVAC business, 100%.
Yeah.
I work with these HVAC guys. I know.
Yeah.
Like this, in my opinion, is something to be proud of. And you're giving somebody a chance saying, hey, listen, go out there and apply, go get your certification. Now you can go into the workforce right there. And over a 5-year period of time, you're going to pay it back, half of it. That's all we're looking for. And go out, do something great with your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is that? Like, yes.
Yeah. It really, when it's kind of when it's laid out, it's a no-brainer for investing in the future. And on the HVAC, 2 points. One, can you imagine how much you would pay an HVAC technician if you're on Friday of 4th of July weekend, your air conditioning breaks down in your house?
Okay.
Tell you, I've had air conditioning break down on a Friday, and you're really happy that you have a relationship with an HVAC guy. Second thing on this is when I shared about this program, a guy came up to me and said, "By the way, I run HR for a significant segment of a very large air conditioning company.
Okay.
I will not say the name, but you would instantly recognize it." He said, "I love the idea of this program, and we would want to put some matching funds up for it."
I knew they would.
Yeah. So this is a way for, so we talk about, but there all the hue and cry, the budget's falling,
Yeah.
we're not going to have money. If you start to become creative, then you'll generate additional funds from programs that make sense. And the private sector will want to come alongside. And this is a classic example of it.
This is a great idea. All
Mhm.
right. I love this. I mean, and the other thing I think about is I was thinking, this is what I thought at the gym. I was thinking about your program. I thought about graduation day. So
Mhm.
imagine if you had an HVAC class, right?
Right.
And then you got graduation, and then they walk into a room and you've got 20 HVAC companies that are around there in a table.
Absolutely.
I picture this in my mind, and they're like,
Yeah.
I can go to any company and I can go get myself a job, and they're competing for the talent,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then these guys, these people are wanted. And if you want to talk about discipline and hope, that's it right there.
Yeah.
It's like look, I accomplished something, and there are people that immediately want to hire me that are out there. And then what does that do? That raises the standard of private industry in the area,
Exactly.
right? And then they have to go get this great talent from the Orange County Works program,
Right.
and they're
right,
going to
right.
love that.
They will.
They're going to send people in there to teach it. They're going to send, and like, for me, this is what government can do to help people. If you
Mhm.
want to talk about helping people, this gives people discipline and a reason to get up in the morning,
Empowerment.
and it gives them hope for what could happen tomorrow.
Mhm.
Man, I might just steal discipline. and hope.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now. But I think that, when I watched the debate and they gave you like 30 seconds to explain this Orange County Works, because everyone's got a certain amount of time.
Sure. Yeah. No,
I-
they were very fair.
They were very good, I
very
thought.
fair.
Shout out to Greg and Martha there, did a
Yeah.
great job. But when I saw that, I'm like, God, this is you can't condense this into 60 seconds,
yeah.
Chris?
Yeah.
And what you're doing here, this Orange County Works program, I think that so many people who are Democrats, if they heard that that normally vote in that direction, would go, that's the kind of way I want my money used.
It's a pro-labor program.
Yeah.
It's a pro-labor program, of course. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's real. I think it will be great for the county. And one thing you can bet is the kids that are young people, the young folks that are in this program, and maybe the older folks, but young folks in this program, they're not going to go down and riot at Icon Park.
No. They gotta have a purpose because you got to
because they have a purpose. Because they have a purpose, and they have class the next day. And maybe they're tired because they were
you're welding all
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, that'll do it to you when you're out there.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell it's not easy. I mean, and I think that for me, this is one of those deals to where it has been overlooked, because people want to focus so much on the negative, but there's an opportunity side to Chris Messina's platform, and this to me is where it changes. I was literally sitting there at the gym, picturing in my mind a graduating class having this chance to go into all of these businesses and go, here's my resume. Do you want, and being able to, I mean, can you imagine a kid, the kind of confidence and just passion and discipline that instills that they have companies that want that person?
Oh, it's a great, I mean,
man.
Yeah. Your feeling of success.
Yeah.
And, fulfillment is just tremendous when that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back, you remember the first time you got a good offer and you're like, wow, this company really wants me, right?
It feels good.
It does. It does.
And I'm going to tell you, for those of you who ever doubt it, it feels a lot better than being handed something.
Yeah.
And I know that you probably teach this with football. Go out there and earn something.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a lot better.
Yeah.
And when I think about just in general, and I've mentioned this earlier, the difference between the conservative outlook for a county or America or a state versus a more liberal one, it's about a personal accountability. It's just, hey, listen, am I responsible or is somebody else responsible for the success or lack thereof in my life?
Right.
And if you want to call me a conservative, what you would call me is a person that looks at my life and says, I didn't make as much money right now, and I'm not where I should be, not because somebody else, it's because I made poor choices in my life.
Sure.
And I've had to overcome those choices. I've had to look myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
And there are people that are younger than me that unfortunately didn't have to do that. And man, they've made something of themselves.
Mhm.
And so for me, when I look at this is the definition of what you're trying to instill in a county. And
Yeah.
that's something worth being proud of, brother.
Yeah, yeah, and it's up to the voters. November 3rd is the election, but I hope and pray that you folks listening to this will vote for me and spread the word so that we can make this happen.
Appreciate that. And
Yeah.
Anthony, can we get the TV back up and running so I can see it up there? No, I don't know. You did something. Anthony does not do anything. It is always me. Okay. I'm going to read some questions here because
Sure.
we got 30 minutes left. And
Okay.
if there's anything I haven't touched on, but I just want to have a conversation with
Yeah,
you
of
today.
course.
One of the things, and this is from Sally 1208. Thank you very much for the question. And this is an honest one because I'm interested in this one. Thank you for that question. Can you explain how the no property tax will not affect first responders? Like, because you're saying it won't, but your opponent says that it will.
Yeah, yeah.
How can a voter like Sally 1208, how does she know who's telling the truth here? How does it
Okay.
not affect them?
Yeah, yeah. So first of all, we have to understand what's on the ballot. So what's on the ballot is an increase in the homestead exemption on your primary residence. So that means the part that's not taxed. So it's going to go from 50,000 to 150,000 in 2027, and then to 250,000 in 2028. So that is not even a majority of the value of homesteaded properties.
Yep.
in Orange County. Now, homesteaded properties account for 2.5%. All tax revenue from homesteaded properties account for 2.5% of all of Orange County's revenue coming in. Now, it's a higher percentage of the operating budget because there's some constraints on where the other monies
Like a
can go.
TDT.
Yeah,
example.
exactly. So it's in the range of 7 to 10%. The county has been growing by in the past year, the revenue base, taxable revenue base,
Mhm.
and the taxable revenues grew by 7.2%. So that's already made up the vast majority of that. So let's just, if it's 7%, you're already ahead. Let's say it's 10%. So then there's 3% to make up. Now, what business or family hasn't had to make a small reduction in their costs? And
Yeah, everyone.
we've already talked about the scope of the waste that the Orange County CFO saw being about 190 million.
Go ahead, take a minute.
Yeah, I'm going
So-
to take a quick
So,
sip. Sorry.
I mean, I think this is so important why Chris takes a little drink here. We've been talking for the last hour and 40 minutes, everybody. If you're just joining us, we've got Chris Messina here. He is in the runoff right now to be the
Mhm.
next mayor of Orange County. He is in a runoff against Tiffany Moore Russell. So that vote is coming up in November, everyone.
Mhm.
And right now we're talking about a question here from Selly 1208, who's asking to explain how the no property tax will not affect first responders. And Chris is saying that although we're looking at probably about a 7% of the workable budget, let's
Right.
just say, we've also seen an increase in the taxable income that is coming into the county. But even if we didn't, let's just say it's not a write-off and there's a 3% difference right there. You were going with that one right there.
Yeah. So every family, every business has had times where they had to cut costs.
Yeah.
For example, I worked at Hewlett Packard at one point when it was the most admired company in America. There's a downturn. Everybody in management took a 10% cut, and then the company recovered and did quite well. But why is it that families can cut costs, businesses can cut costs, but government never can?
Yeah.
Why don't so Sally it was
1208.
Sally 1208. Thanks for that question, and hope I answered it. And also important to note that it's not eliminating all property tax. It's just eliminating some property tax on only primary residences. So that means investment properties, hotels, Airbnbs,
Commercial properties.
commercial
right?
properties.
Yeah.
They're all paying taxes, and those are actually two bigger categories of revenue to the county than homesteaded properties.
I'm going to tell you why, for the most part, I really do like the Amendment 3. And
Mhm.
this is, in fact, this is why I support it. All right.
Mhm.
It's because it's never going to be easy when you decide to cut
Mhm.
government. Because everyone's got their hand out, right? And
Mhm.
everybody wants it. Folks, at some point, we have to make a decision if you want a smaller government where it comes from. All right. This is where you start.
Mhm.
And if you're going to trust anybody, trust a Chris Messina to get in there and go, we're going to find it and waste and abuse elsewhere. That's not going to be first responders. I think it's
Exactly.
very clear where we can make up 3%. If that's what it
Mhm.
took, everybody and their brother has had to come up with 3% in Orange County.
Mhm.
I have, you have, anybody walked into a supermarket between last year and this year,
Mhm.
you surely have had to come up with 3%. I don't think there's any reason that Orange County can't do the same.
No, there isn't. And when you think of it, it's 3 cents on out of a dollar.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I think we can do it.
Mhm.
I don't think it's. I've got some. Hey, what do you got on your side over there, Anthony? Because I've got 30 more minutes here. I want to take some questions
Sure,
from people
sure,
as we
sure.
go, because I can go down my list.
Nothing yet. This is just feedback, really.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to go into mine. What about Sunrail?
Okay.
People, I know we were talking about
Mhm.
what's it called? We were talking about transportation, and we
Sure.
were talking about Scout and Seminole County. I got
Yeah,
off
yeah.
of it. But what about Sunrail coming from Freedom 0921?
Okay. Yeah, so hi, Freedom 0921. I
Yeah.
love the Freedom moniker. So Sun the problem with Sunrail is that the estimates to make that fully efficient are $1.4 billion.
Mm.
It's a huge number, and rail systems across the country just not made money. Their net losses to taxpayers, and now you say, well, that's important. It's an important government service, maybe, but we need to see our rail systems run more efficiently. Another example is Brightline just defaulted on their bonds,
Yeah.
and so I've said this before. I love the trains. I've ridden on the one profitable segment of train in the country, which is the segment between Boston and New York on a Acela. So that makes money. And it makes money because it's a much more efficient way of traveling between those two cities than flying. You get a lot more, you get an hour more work time and a lot less hassle.
Yep.
So we need, in my opinion, we're one technology innovation away from having a really good rail system. And what I mean by this is what transformed the economics of space launches was when Elon Musk's company, SpaceX, started recapturing the boosters instead of throwing them away. That was, he said, why every booster is about $25 million. Why are we jettisoning it into the ocean? Let's recover them. And that really changed the economics. We need a similar innovation in trains. Now, I have a bunch of patents, but I have no idea on what the innovation is that we need in trains. But I know there's really smart folks out there that do. In fact, I was just at this will be can I go off on a little tangent?
Your show, bro.
Okay. All right. It was your show.
No way. Come on, you're the guest. Give it a
So
go.
I was just at this really fun meeting with the Farm Bureau.
Okay.
And they told me there's a young guy. I don't know who he is, but I'm really looking forward to, they're going to arrange some kind of meeting. 13 years old, who's invented a robot that can travel through orchards and farm fields and scan the crops and pick up what the diseases are in the crops.
Come on now.
Yeah, no, seriously. And if I find him out, you have him on your show.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
We had the valedictorian from, you see that one? We had the guy with the highest GPA ever in the state of Florida. He graduated last year.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, what was his GPA? 12.94. We don't want to get it wrong.
How do you get 12?
No, look him up. Look him up,
yeah.
our boy. He came on the show.
Hey, we've got a spot on our campaign team.
I know, right?
And in our administration.
He is going to, God, he's going to kill me. Duke. He's going to Duke. Yeah, 11.99. He said the record in Florida. So he graduated from over in Tampa, a school over there.
That's
when I saw his story, I'm like, I gotta have him on the show.
You gotta have him on.
And he was just a great dude. But yeah, I know what you mean by that. There's great talent like that.
So much, yeah. And you know, I think we have not done enough, and this is maybe another segue in Orange County to promote our talent.
Yeah.
So one of the complaints I've always gotten is people who fly a lot. They're so tired of hearing, the same guy on the microphone every time. Welcome to Orlando. Welcome to, and I had this thought, and I shared this with a few people, and it's like, that's a great idea. So I'll share it with you.
Tell me.
Is to take 12 people doing great things in different areas, like this young boy, and have them be the voice and rotate them. So it's like, this is, let's say his name is Jimmy Bean. Hi, this is Jimmy Bean, and I was the inventor of the robot that scans crops, and
Orchard scanner or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, and hi, this is Amanda Johnson. I play Belle in Disney, and this is my fifth. Like, let's celebrate the innovation that's here, and why not do it at the airport? You like that idea?
I love this idea.
Yeah.
I mean, because listen, you know how much we fly in my company?
Oh, I know, it's crazy, right?
We talk about it all the time. We got to get on the tram and we all listen for it. We're like, thanks for coming to Orlando. We're sure you didn't see everything. Our great city. It's like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Right? The one thing that Buddy Dyer, in my opinion, has done is that, and he just loves to hear the sound of his own voice, so he keeps it on there. But that's my opinion personally. I love this idea, and then it changes. And that way, people are celebrated.
And you're coming back. Like, who is it? Who are they? Who are we going to be featured on the train? It'll be something fun.
Yes.
And then at the same time, it'll be promoting our economy as a center for innovation.
It's a really good idea. I love this, man. Like, little things like that, and they make a difference, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna get to questions. So yesterday, I'm over at the airport.
Yeah.
Obviously. And as I'm leaving the airport, I noticed something. This is just me. Orange County, let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who's coming there is coming there for one reason. All right. They know it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not coming here for Disney, you're probably the people next to you are there for Disney, right?
Or Universal. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Here's, again, this is just me talking to you like we're buddies. All right. I never have understood why when you're leaving MCO, like, it has an arrow going someplace, like go over this way, go this way. Why it's not a Mickey Mouse hand. Okay. And I'm serious about this. I don't understand why the drive down, what is it like? What is it? Not 429, 408. 528.
528.
Yeah,
Okay,
I never understand why the drive down 528 can't just have, Mickey and Minnie on a sled and they're pulling it, and like,
Harry Potter.
Yeah, like all this cool stuff. Like when I'm getting on to, if you're on the Magical Express and you're coming into Orlando, I would want there when I get off, like an MCO, and first of all, it would start when you get off the plane. I think the characters, I would love to see Orange County invest in characters at MCO or kids who are arriving in Orlando and they get a chance then to see Mickey. They're right there. I'm here. Hi, how you doing? Like, I might be serious on this show, but if you know how many times I fly and see kids that are so excited to come to Disney. If they got off that plane and they go across on that tram where they heard about all those wonderful things that are going on in Orange County, and then they get there and there's, oh my gosh, there's Minnie. There's like they could lose their mind.
What you're talking about is have the magic start the moment the plane lands.
Yeah. And then it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, instead of fighting, Orange County has fought, in my opinion, against Disney. And what I would love is someone like you who steps up and goes, I'm tired of fighting you. I think y'all are awesome. And you know what? We have our differences and we've had our differences. But you know what? Let's help each other out.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're really good at, Disney? You're really good at moving people. You know what MCO ain't very good at? Moving people. So let's work together and change something around here. What do you say? And by the way, for your help and what you invest in making sure this place looks beautiful, you're going to get all this great stuff. And Universal, you're going to help too.
Yeah.
For me, Chris, I look at this like from a business standpoint and go, why don't we start with the largest university and the #1 tourist destination?
Right. Yeah.
Call me crazy and work together.
Exactly. Well, we have to start when we are in the mayor's seat. We're going to work on this task force.
Okay.
We're going to be on it. You're
I would
be
love
on
how cool would that be an MCO, man?
Yeah.
Like, think people to give it like whatever, like, but think about like how much better MCO could be for a family.
Yeah.
Lord, it's a miserable place right now.
So we could do two things. One is, have the magic happen there.
Yeah.
And two, create a sense of curiosity and interest in Greater Orlando as a destination for business.
There we go. I love that. What do you got on your side, Anthony? If not, I'm going to move to a question on mine. We've got about 20 more minutes here. Chris Messina, who is in a runoff right now to be the next mayor of Orange County. He's your conservative candidate right here. He is also a friend of the show and somebody I will be voting for, just so everyone knows that I am biased on this one. All right. I want no unbiased. Yes, I am unbiased. This is a better candidate. So everyone get it right. What do you got?
More of just like a fun one.
What do you got?
What is your favorite thing about Orange County?
Oh, it's got to be it's got to be the people. Like look at this room. I mean, 4 great people in here. I know 2 of us are doing most of the talking, but no, Orange County has just great, creative, fun people. And, like that story I shared about the kid, but that was with a group of really fun people who are farmers here, like running nurseries and ranches and farms. And so it's that would be at the top of the list. But, if you want to go like my favorite hamburger, I could start plugging some places. My favorite podcast is, of course, the Patrick Carr Show.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Someone mentioned right here, and the Sunrail is tough because people on both sides, they were saying the Sunrail is closed on the weekends, and that's something, when it comes to that. Listen, I'm not Jamar FL, Florida. Sunrail being closed on the weekends, it's tough driving between Polk County to Orlando. Traffic is horrendous. Definitely understand that.
Yeah, it is bad up for.
Anthony, if you could can you bring up my Instagram so I can actually run this idea past Chris and he can make fun of me? Do you mind? Dude, can you show up my train one? Okay. Can you make fun of me about this? Okay. Come on.
Well, it depends on the idea.
Okay. Well, you can make fun of me about this one. All right. Am I right? It's like, am I on this? Is this a good idea right there on the left?
Okay.
So let me preface this. Chris was saying this while you bring it up there. I'm sitting there and we're talking. Me and Anthony are just doing one of our shows like normal. And I'm like, okay, I went down one weekend to 2 things. I did an Orlando City game in the evening.
Okay.
Before that, I went to something called the Milkshake Factory, which is a brand new place that just opened right there on the corner, right almost catty corner to right across Division Avenue.
Okay.
Okay. Right course to the Kia Center. Okay. Great small business. Okay. It's called the Milkshake Factory right there.
Factory.
Okay. And as I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the guy who owns the place, because he recognized from the show and stuff. And he's telling me, he's like, yeah, I need to get more foot traffic down this road. And if I can do that, I can have my milkshakes out front. I can sell it to people, like all that. I'm like, I love the hustle. I love it.
Yeah.
So my brain starts working. And I'm like, why don't more people are not more people on this road? Going from the Kia Center, and think about that loop going down to Camping World and around back down the road that goes between the Geico garage and the Amway Center.
Yeah.
There's a big circle. Then come back down to Orange Ave.
Yeah.
And go back down Orange Ave.
Yeah.
And then go back around. It's a big oval that we're going to show you right here.
Yeah.
So here, I was thinking about this and I'm like, okay, how do we get people moving into this area of Orange County, which everyone seems to write off? It's that no man's land of 8 blocks between Division Ave or between Orange Ave and Camping World. How do we get people moving? So this was my idea, and we put a little AI to it in the Anthony did. So let's awesome thing. We had a tram that was running from your Orange Avenue area in a big circle down there. I think that a great thing would be, what an awesome thing if we had a tram that was running from your Orange Avenue. So what we're thinking about is running it around. Okay. And like what happens is all that street, right? What happens? You have a couple stops where people can get off.
Yeah.
Then those businesses now that run along this tram route, and we start to what I call fill in the gap between Orange Ave and around the other edge of Camping World Stadium. Now, think about this, everybody. Going down that road that's right there between the Kia Center and where West Court is supposed to be, down that road, how many businesses could be formed along that road? Right?
And there's none there.
There's none, which means that putting in a tram along that side right there, not difficult at all, everybody. How many around Camping World Stadium? Not difficult at all. And all the way back down the other side?
Yeah.
Nothing going on there either. The only thing that could prevent it is that small, about a half a mile strip on Orange Avenue, which I think you can make it Magnolia or even South.
Yeah.
And you can make it so we've got a workable tram going around the city right there. And then people can jump on and all of a sudden they can park downtown and boom, you're right there at the Orlando City game.
Yeah.
And then if you park it, if you go to Orlando City, you jump on the tram and you're back downtown to have a nice meal with your family.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it kind of like a jump on, jump off thing.
And with
like,
electric, I
Yeah.
love it. So I'm actually going to be in a meeting just about this area.
Yeah.
So with your permission, I'll bring that
Please do.
idea.
I don't have any.
Yeah.
What's up?
So when we posted that, I looked at the comments. There was supposed to be one in 1990.
Oh,
Yeah.
so there was supposed to be, but I look
But
at this.
see, now we don't need the overhead wires
Yes.
because we can do it just, it'll be an electric tram,
Exactly.
and just a loop around. It could even be driverless.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so it comes around there, it goes around, and it just continues to make this loop, period.
Mhm.
So what this would allow is that what I call this
As long
area.
as it's safe.
Exactly.
That's
I'm about it.
key. That's really
No
gotta be
problem
key.
with that. But what I think about is along that way, where I
Mhm.
call the no man's land of about
Yeah.
7 to 8 blocks, where
Yeah.
right now there's no development and there are constantly people moaning about the fact that nothing
Right.
gets done there. Well, now you've got a way to move people through
Mhm.
there because right now there's no parking in that area, there's no businesses. But as a business, if I could be told that someone could park, go around, they could come right there easily to me, come right out of my business, jump on the tram and come back. We've got transportation.
Yeah.
And 3/4 of it is so deserted right now anyway, with
I
like
know.
that we have an opportunity for a small amount of money, in my opinion, compared to 34 million being used like by the city of Orlando.
Right.
And a $9 billion budget for Orange
and
County.
revitalizing that area is
Let's go.
critical. It's critical. That to me is the entertainment spine of Orlando.
I agree.
And we have to make sure that's great.
And so people, I got a lot of, okay, I'm already getting pushback. I get it. People are going to get hit. I know it. Everyone's like, they're going to get killed. They're going to kill.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen, this is just me. Okay, everybody. Some people just need to, move out of the way of a train. If you can't get out of the way, I'm sorry here, folks. We can't say that somebody's too stupid. We can't do anything. All right. But I'm sure there's a way that we can make it safe. But thank you, Corey. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But I think one thing when I look at you, Chris, is like in the course of us talking, you come up with these ideas that when people think about government, they don't think about this stuff. Government's just supposed to do like the status quo, man. Like you're not supposed to think about stuff like Space Force.
Right.
And I think that because that's my next transition right there. Like people, when it comes, like you've talked about bringing like real new technology, people in Space Force to the Central Florida area,
Right.
into Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people like Space Force, like that's even getting fun. Like, I don't think that's even gotten through people's mind that it's getting funding right now, but you're really about bringing Space Force to Orange County.
Yeah. Space Force Academy and specifically.
Let's go.
Yeah. The Space Force has already been established, but there's no military academy in the South. And there's no military academy for the Space Force. So the Navy has one in Annapolis, West Point for the Army, Air Force Academy in Colorado. So we need one for the Space Force. And this is probably the best location in America for it. We're right across the St. Johns River from the world's premier launch facility. We have 72,000 students at UCF, and the Florida Space Institute is headquartered there. We have a very strong kind of military veteran base here. We just, it's a perfect location. It's a great place to live there for people who might be moving here from out of state. There's just so many reasons why it's really perfectly aligned. And I can tell you, we've been working on this for about a year, and we're getting traction on it from Congress people. And there's a lot of buzz building around this. So it's going to be one of the initiatives that we go hard after. And it will spin off at least. So West Point, it generates $1 billion in ancillary revenues every year.
Yep.
So Space Force Academy is going to do at least that, but likely more, because it has the potential to spin off a lot of businesses and support a lot of businesses.
When I think about the people that are going to be involved with that, I want those people in the community.
We do.
I was a guest on a amazing podcast, just a bunch of badass dudes, called Tier 1. These are all Tier 1 operators.
Okay.
All right. Delta Force, SEAL guys.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking around in this room going, what am I doing here? Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But luckily, just a bunch of great guys. They run it here out of Central Florida. And I would be remiss if I didn't get a chance to ask you this question. Okay.
Sure.
And so shout out to Tier 1 guys. You guys are amazing. I want to talk about veterans in Orange County.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And more specifically, and speaking with these gentlemen, I'm not a veteran myself, but it appears that there is and continues to be a real gap between perhaps the service that veterans are perceived to be receiving
Yeah.
and what they're actually receiving.
Mm.
Two-part question for you.
Okay.
Are you talking to veterans on the ground? And
Yeah.
do you have a plan in Orange County to address the care that veterans are receiving around here?
Yeah, so veterans, we owe such a debt to them.
Absolutely.
So that's the first, the first thing. So we need to do everything we can to support veterans. Most veterans issues are run by the VA, which is a federal program. Now, my understanding, and I've talked to a number of veterans, is that the VA services here are pretty good.
Okay.
But if they're not, then that's a place that we really need to dive into. What I'm really concerned about is how many veterans we have that are homeless on the streets.
Okay.
And a lot of that is ancillary to drug addiction and mental health issues. And so that's another reason we just really have to tackle this homeless problem so aggressively. Is because so many of these folks, the like you said, it's just one or two circumstances, and the circumstance was caused by them seeking to defend the country. So we have to take care of that. I do think the Space Force Academy is going to provide a lot of opportunities for veterans where they can use their skills in a new and really exciting way. And so we're going to be tapping the veteran the veteran base here to make that excellent.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I don't know enough about the care that veterans receive in Orange County because I'm not a veteran.
Right.
Right. I only know that I've been asked to ask you the question.
Yeah.
Okay, number one. And then, I was listening to Jay Collins.
Yeah.
Who was running for
He's
governor.
a veteran, right?
He's a veteran.
And he lost his leg, I believe, in a
Yeah.
Green Bay operation.
Yeah.
Sorry, a Green Beret operation. Yeah.
And so I'm up in Leesburg, and I was doing some podcasting up there,
Yeah.
talking to some supporters of
Yeah.
him, and I've been no qualms on this show that I supported Jay Collins, period. And I thought he was the best candidate for me. Got it, cool. But that's not my point in saying this. One of the things he said, which always was interesting to me, he was talking about trying to return the power to the states for the VA. And allowing states to begin to make their decisions, and then taking the state money and then moving that down county by county, depending on, I mean, again, I don't know the details, but basically taking that money and returning it home and allowing counties and local municipalities, at least at the state level. I don't know all of his details, so I don't want to put anything in Jay's mouth, but returning it to a local level as much as possible to allow the governments there to be able to help local veterans. And I thought, that seems to make sense to me, because the more hands you got involved in something, the more it just tends to just water it down from a federal government going down to this.
Yeah.
There's always one more person who has their hand out. But I mean, I agree with you. If you've got a strong veteran community, you can do a lot.
Yeah. So that proposal would probably really work well in Florida, because Florida overall is very efficient with managing under the DeSantis administration at managing money. Now, would it work well in Orange County? I think it depends on who's in leadership.
Yeah. We've only got time for a few other questions right here, and I've got to ask you this one then, and I'm going to leave it. Anything that you want us to know, Christian, anything you want us to talk about, you can chime in here, okay? I got my final question here for you is this. It's, in an area like Orange County, and being a conservative, if you are to win this, okay, how do you get government done when you have so many blue D liberal I mean, there is it's a huge base here. You got to overcome it. So when you got a lot of ideologues, as I would call them, around this county, how does a Chris Messina get work done around here? Because I think it's a fair question to ask, being a conservative in this race.
It definitely is. It definitely is. So the first thing is to really focus on achievable results that will benefit everybody here economically. and then make sure that the public is aware of what the opportunities are, because that creates pressure for cooperation. And then, you know, I
Love it.
I look at everybody as, look, this is a person here. They have to pay their bills. They have their own sets of challenges. And so kind of coming alongside them with that approach, I think is one that'll work. I've know a lot of the, and have some friendships with some of the more, I would say, folks on the left,
Mhm.
and there are a number of folks I think we can find a lot of common ground.
I think you might share the same thing that I do. I believe that shame philosophy.
Sure.
I think there are a lot of conservatives that look at people on the left and they go, that's an evil approach.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
I prefer to look at it this way, that somebody is more likely to have different life experiences than what I do than to be malicious, more likely.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I'm more apt to get more apt. Thank you.
Sure.
I'm more apt to give somebody that ignorance over being malicious. In other
Yeah.
words, they just have different life experiences than what I do, and they believe that that is the right way to do things. I believe that is more than there is just people that are evil, and just
Yeah.
because they disagree with me means that they're trying to hurt me or trying to hurt people that I care about.
Right.
I think that for the most part, they truly believe that that's the best way to go about doing it
Mhm.
and for the greater good. And probably there's some truth to what they're saying, even if we disagree.
Mhm.
I don't think it has to be an us versus them thing. And
You're somebody who looks for the common ground.
Yeah.
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 And where there are areas of common understanding, you come from a place of assuming the best as opposed to assuming the worst.
Yeah, I will.
And that in general, that's my approach until shown otherwise.
Correct. Then when you show me otherwise and you show your true colors, and fine.
Yeah.
But I've looked at this, that people, especially when we make comments, like even our content that I've put out,
Mhm.
people will assume that, you know, something about somebody's platform, that it's evil because they disagree with them.
You're
Right.
right.
And most of the time, I'm here to tell you folks, it's not that they're malicious or evil. It's that they just have a different experience in life than what you do. And
Mhm.
so I don't judge the people, like, let's say, an Anna Eskamani, who I've had on
Mhm.
this show.
Mhm.
We have very different approaches to life.
Yeah.
Okay. But then again, I've owned a small business for most of my life.
Mhm.
She hasn't.
Right.
We have different experiences that have led us to the different solutions that we have.
Mhm.
Okay. That doesn't mean she's evil or that I'm right and she's wrong. It
Mhm.
just means we're different ways of, you know, going at this thing.
I think what you're is, so this also leads me to, it points to me the importance of term limits in politics,
Yeah.
because when you have them, then you get a new wave of people in who have different experiences and who can bring different ways of thinking. The problem, and this is across parties, the problem with career politics, in my opinion, is that people become ossified and they become hardened in their ideas, and then they don't bring anything new.
Mhm.
And so that's why when I look at one of my favorite characters from, Roman history is Cincinnatus, called to service and went back to his plow and back to his farms, right?
Yep.
Or George Washington, right? One of the, probably the single greatest American. He, 2 terms as president and led the Revolutionary Army, 2 terms as president. They wanted to make him king. He said, "No, I'm going back to being a farmer. You pick somebody else."
There you go,
Right?
man.
How great is that to walk away from power? He set an example for all of us. So I really believe, and to anybody listening out there, where, no matter what your political persuasion is, I think we really need to move to term limits in government.
Yes. Yes. There should be no question about this.
Mhm.
People who spend a lifetime in government are the people who sit on HOA boards forever. Okay. Like those are the same kind of people.
Yeah.
If you get on an HOA board and you don't leave the HOA board, you're just like the government. All right.
Mhm.
What do you do? Get off the HOA board. You're hungry for power. All right. You got your couple of years on the HOA
Yeah.
board and get out of there. But that's why I look at these people like your opponent. I know we haven't talked much because we want to talk about you, but when you are a career on there, I would just ask everybody, think about that last person who spent 20 years on an HOA board. Do you think they probably did it because they were looking out for the community? Or do you maybe think they might have just liked having a little power in the community?
Mhm.
Come on.
Yeah.
You make
Yeah.
the judge the next time you're in your own HOA. All right. How about it? What did we miss, Christian?
Well, I think it's important
Talk to me.
that Chris distinguishes himself from, a federal race, right? Like a lot of people, I see a lot of comments on Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram and stuff that are like, Chris is MAGA, Chris is this, Chris is that, and they make these assumptions about him. And I think it's really not fair because this is not a federal race. He doesn't care about, these federal issues. Sure he does, but he doesn't. It's not what you're running for. I
Right.
think it's important to distinguish himself.
All right.
On those things.
So let's learn it because they probably didn't hear you through the mic. All right.
Yeah.
So what he's accusing you of. Okay. No, but let's talk about
Okay.
this. Okay. Because we only
Sure.
got a few more minutes here. I know you're cognizant of your time,
Yeah.
everybody. But the accusation is you're a MAGA guy. You're a Republican conservative.
Mhm.
You're that's who we are. Now it's going to be, we don't need that MAGA stuff
Yeah.
inside of Orange County. I want you to put this to bed. Okay. And I
Mhm.
think that's a fair thing. Right. And I'm phrasing it like that person would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's that person who jumps on and goes, "You're that guy." All right.
Yeah.
Who is Chris Messina? Is that the
Well-
right way to phrase it? Like who
Well, first of all, Chris Messina is not Donald Trump.
Okay. Good.
These are local issues. Regardless of how anybody may feel about the president, the vice president, our senators, our governor, these are really local issues, and the local issues are going to be solved by people who live here, who love this community, and like me, and have a approach that's going to design to benefit everybody. And so, I not whatever I do or don't do is not going to affect anything nationally. And I have no ambitions even to go to Washington for sure, and even to go to Tallahassee. My ambitions are to do a great job here in Orange County and then go grow things and coach football.
Okay. I've got to ask one follow-up question to that because when it comes to, I think that one of the things we need to touch on before you leave is immigration, though, because
Sure.
that is something that Orange County does have something to do with.
Yeah.
It was just earlier this year that Mayor Demings, in fact, basically what he did is he reduced the amount of hold time from
Yeah.
72 hours down to 48 hours for
Yeah.
ICE.
Yeah.
Okay. And while I do understand that there is federal law that
Mhm.
governs, and state law even, that governs how immigration works, there is somewhat of a, how would I put this, cooperation that is necessary
Yeah.
from the local level if you're going to enforce laws.
Yeah.
I'm curious where you stand on this right now.
Yeah.
How would you govern when it comes to immigration? Is it tell me, because what's the role?
So we need to keep our community safe. We need all of our law enforcement agencies to cooperate with each other. So we need local law enforcement to cooperate with state law enforcement to cooperate with federal law enforcement, and that creates a smooth functioning, safe community. In terms of immigration, I'm a third generation child of immigrants. My wife is a legally naturalized U.S. citizen.
Mhm.
She was born in another country. And my view is, legal immigration is great. It's kind of like what we were talking about with term limits.
Yeah.
It's brought a wave of new ideas and new thinking and new energy into the country. Illegal immigration is great. Illegal immigration has brought a lot of costs and problems and challenges into the country. So legal immigration, absolutely. Illegal immigration, no.
Here's what I would ask from you, because this is where I stand on. I'm very
Yeah.
interested if you would agree with me on this.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to see in Orange County and all surrounding counties. If you are here illegally
Mm-hmm.
and you commit a violent crime,
Mm-hmm.
aggravated assault, battery on another person, a violent crime, then you stay behind bars until you see a judge.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I started from. What I don't want to see are people that commit violent crimes who are here illegally, who are allowed out on bond, and then those people are on the streets never to be returned again, or the fugitive task force from OPD or whoever has to go out there and get them. And that's what I want your opponent, because I think you would agree on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's my question to a Tiffany Moore Russell.
Mm.
If you want to, when we're talking about immigration, everyone can talk about the pluralities and the generalities and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about real in Orange County. You commit a violent crime. Will she commit to not allowing that individual back out on the streets until they see a judge. No more bond for violent criminals that are here illegally. All right. Not petty theft. Okay. I'm not talking about shoplifting, everybody. I'm not talking about if, stuff like that. I'm talking about if you violently commit a crime against another person and you're here illegally, I want you to stay behind bars until a judge sees you. I think that is a reasonable thing for Orange County residents.
I think that's a starting place.
There, let's make that commitment. And what I would ask of your opponent is, here's what I think. I think she speaks in such generalities, she can't even agree on that. I'm telling you right now, I can't. And I'll pose it right now. Tiffany Moore Russell, can you agree a violent criminal should stay behind bars until they see a judge, or should they be back out on the street? Can you agree they stay behind bars? I think Orange County residents would love to know the answer to that question.
Why wouldn't we deport a violent criminal who's an illegal? They see a judge and then they get deported. Why?
Okay, great.
Yeah. Why wouldn't we do that?
I don't. And again, this is where, for me, they try to paint conservatives or Republicans into this box. I think me and you would also agree. The guy who's on top of a roof working his off, that ain't the guy I'm talking about.
We're talking about somebody who's terrorizing communities that are often communities that are at the lower socioeconomic level and really struggling to get ahead, and they're being terrorized by these folks.
I bet your opponent can't even say that. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I bet your opponent can't even say that.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody who's in a community where there might be more people who are there illegally, whatever you want to say it, however you want to phrase it, they would get behind that, because they don't want violence in their community either.
Who does?
I don't care. You don't have to be an American citizen. You don't have to be here. I don't care where. You just have to be a person to know I don't want violence in my community. And if you want to come around here and beat on a woman, then I don't want you here anymore.
Well,
all right.
We also have to make sure that people who are legal citizens and commit violent crimes are not just randomly released back into the community.
I'm getting, yes, Corey, absolutely. 1000%. No bond for violent illegals. Okay. Yes. Deport. Tim. Yeah. Hey, Tim, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, I think these are reasonable things. I think most Orange County residents are behind on all sides, right?
I would think so. I would certainly hope so.
I bet your opponent doesn't believe that. But that's just my opinion. What else do we miss over there, brother?
Well, I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? How do you think Chris overcomes? I mean, you're a smart guy. You have a lot of good ideas. What do you think? How do you think he overcomes
Bring it up.
The liberal stronghold that is Orange County?
Bring it up. We'll show. I have my plan.
Oh, there we go.
Let's do it. Bring up my map. Spend days on this. Okay, here's my map that I developed.
Okay.
This is my proprietary information. Just someone, I'll share it with you afterwards. This is it. Okay, what I've developed here is Orange County. This is an interactive map made. I know, folks, I nerd out on this stuff, but this is what I look at.
Okay.
Everything that you see on your screen right now in gold is a harvest area. This is where you can persuade Murphy-Uribe voters, in my opinion, to go in the Messina way.
Okay.
All right. Everything purple is our battleground areas. Green is squarely for you. And then I call them write-off areas. These are yours crossed off right there. These right here are going to go, in my opinion, they're going to go over for Tiffany Moore Russell. Where do we see here is, I believe in my heart, that middle ground that you see there in our 300s and 500 precincts is where Chris Messina wins this race. Okay. I'd also like you to look at mail gap, if that's okay, on the left over there. Click on my mail gap. Thank you. Right there. Boom. This is where there was a big difference in mail-in ballots, which look at our red coincides with that. But I look at that, again, middle area with our light greens, starting about right there down into 500s, 300s. There's such a big opportunity right there to swing that in the mail-in, because people are doing that early, right? And so what I would focus on is that middle area of 300 and 500 battleground areas and precincts where I believe Chris Messina can flip the Stephanie Murphys and the Myra Uribe voters right in those areas. Because I don't think it happens there in the 700s. I think it happens in district, where is it? District? Yeah, District 5. That, and then up there. 205 is a great one. There's big, God, it's such a big district.
That's a Popka, right? A Coe.
yeah, over there.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at, for me, District 5. And when I look to the right over there, Anthony, and when you go over there all the way to the right on that, go down by district, I think District 5 is ripe for the taking. And this is what I mean by this. I believe that if you live in District 5, you voted for Stephanie Murphy because you didn't want a Tiffany Moore Russell. You really, and I think there's some voters out there for you in
Mhm.
District 5 that are undecided right now when I
Mhm.
look at this.
Mhm.
And I looked 1, 3, and 4 squarely for you. All right. And then what's the one that is not either Tiffany Moore Russell or Messina is District 5. So middle ground in the 5 and 700s, or I'm sorry, the 500s and the 300s right there, where there's so many undecided voters,
Mm.
along with District 5. And in my opinion, you start pulling it out that way. I could go into a lot more depth about this.
No, that's really impressive, the amount of detail.
Thanks.
You have another career. You can have a third career.
I built this pretty much all day yesterday. So it does a lot of different things. By the way, we
Yeah.
can look at vulnerability sections. It'll do all that for you. Looking at where the heat maps are across everything.
That's
And
very
then
impressive.
thanks. I did this for myself. So I've been looking at, like, how is this thing going to shape out in this Orange County race? I'm very interested in it. And I believe there is a path for you. And I strongly believe that if with that middle ground, if they can hear more about a Chris Messina, that they will see that there is a place for discipline and hope and an opportunity for Orange County. I believe in you, and this county needs you.
I appreciate that. How many of those folks do you think listen to your show?
I have no
Do you
idea.
know? Do you
How
know?
about?
We got one right here.
All right, there we go.
Oh.
Here.
Thanks.
This is from Lisa. She says, excellent questions and answers. My husband and I are independent voters. We're convinced Orange County needs Messina. Thank you for your informative interview.
Hey, we made an impact
Thank
on
you,
one
Lisa.
person's life.
Yeah,
Thanks,
there you
Lisa.
go. Oh, hey, it's one person at a time.
That's right, man. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa, so
Thank you,
much.
Lisa.
All right, brother. What else?
That's
So
a
anything
great
else?
place.
I'll end on that.
The what?
I'll end on that.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to end, because at the end of the day, it's all about the voters and the people in the county.
Yep. And afterwards, I'll send you this my map
would
so I
love
can
to
nerd
see
out
it.
on it.
Yeah. We'll do
so-
we have a couple of geeks in our group too. Christian being one, and
Thank you so much for
Oh,
joining
it's
me,
a
bro.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you as
you.
always, man.
Really
All right?
appreciate
You're the,
it.
You're the best.
Yeah,
Hey, folks, we'll see you next time on the Patrick Carr Show. We'll be back tomorrow, Anthony. We got a live tomorrow? We're live tomorrow, baby. Just me and you. All right, we'll see you on tomorrow. All right, have a great
See
one,
ya.
okay?
Thank you, guys.